What is up, guys? This is Vin. This is Editing Vin. I'm editing the video right now, and I just realized that I got some news today that Saquon Barkley signed a one-year deal with the New York Giants, $11 million, $2 million in incentives. So, just so you know, I recorded the video yesterday, got the news today that Saquon Barkley is a New York Giant. And of course, like this video, and of course, watch the whole video. It's a good one. Thanks. What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Blue Podcast, episode number 32 of this podcast, and today we're breaking down the New York Giants today. It's been a while since we've covered the New York Giants. Really, the last time we've covered this was the first time, we heard the rumors about Saquon Barkley, not accepting that contract, and, still to this day, Saquon Barkley has not signed the franchise tag yet. We don't know if he's going to sit out. We don't know if he's going to play. I'm going into this season, he's going to play. I'm going into this season because, he loves the game of football. And I don't see Saquon Barkley, just not playing. I know it's his decision, and it's ultimately his decision. My impact on him means nothing. It's really just his decision. And, when he sits down, he makes the call. And, whatever the Giants see him doing, they have a plan. Either he's playing or he's not. Obviously, they want him to play. He's, probably the best offensive talent on the field, on this roster, in my opinion. This offense definitely has improved, for sure. And that's something that the Giants needed to address. We look at this team. They got a lot better. Especially offensively. Bringing in a guy like Darren Waller, that's a huge grab, and they gave up nothing. They gave up a third-round pick, and that third-round pick was from the Kadarius Toney trade they got from the Chiefs. A third-round pick for a top, five, probably maybe top five tight end in this league for a third-round pick. That is a snag, and, this helps out Daniel Jones. Because we know what Daniel Jones, we know what, we got out of Daniel Jones last year, and it was a nice season. The offensive numbers were okay. Only 15 touchdowns. It's not great at all from a QB, especially. You want at least 25, 28 touchdowns a year, unless you're Patrick Mahomes and you throw, 35 plus. But for Daniel Jones' standards, I expect, 25 to 28 touchdowns. If he's a 30 touchdown guy, great. He's got some more weapons. They got Jalen Hyatt in the draft. They got Darren Waller. They've got some offensive weapons. They got Eric Gray now as well, via the draft. And it's going to be, a good season, I think. I think the expectations are, hope to make the playoffs, and then, you build from there. And I'm pretty sure after, this upcoming season, they'll have $60 million in cap space. So you could really make a move there with $60 million to, spend. But, that $60 million, I believe, is also because Saquon hasn't signed yet. So, you'll still have a decent amount of money, heading into, the season after this one. But, we're focused on this season first, and last year they made the playoffs unexpectedly. This team, really was, projected not to be a great team, not to make the playoffs, be, pretty much, an embarrassment, like what they were the last few years. These last few years as a Giants fan have been rough. And, they brought in Joe Shane, they brought in Brian Dable, two amazing acquisitions from John Mara. I really love, what Brian Dable has done. He's really made this offense creative. In the playoffs, he was doing the Statue of Liberty play, against the Vikings. He is a very, he's a creative coach. That's what Brian Dable is. And, we hope the offense is, great against this year. The defense, of course, maybe we get a breakout year out of Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe we get, Azeez Ojulari. Hope he can stay on the field because, he was, amazing when he was healthy. That D-line was amazing. And of course, Leonard Williams, easily, one of the better, D tackles in the league. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, what a year he had. He's been really good. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably a top 5, top 3-ish D tackle in the league, along with, Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. I think, you really could put him in that category. That's just how good I think Dexter Lawrence is. I mean, he's really good. He you know, he blows by, these offensive linemen, and he's a strong dude, Dexter Lawrence, and he's really good. And I mean, if as long as he stays healthy, I mean, I'm expecting another great year out of Dexter Lawrence. And we got the Daniel Jones. Like I said earlier, 15 touchdowns is not gonna do it, but he didn't turn over the ball much. I mean, 5 interceptions. He was. I think he has an amazing speed. I think he's got great speed. I think he's just, he's really got to throw more touchdowns. He's taking on a tough schedule that we'll get into later in this episode. I'll give you guys my predictions of the New York Giants record. And, Daniel Jones needs a good year. Brian Daboll helped him turn over the ball less, like what Brian Daboll did with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, when Brian Daboll was, his coach, I think he was a QB coach at Buffalo, pretty sure. When he was, Josh Allen wasn't turning the ball over. And, I don't think, Daniel Jones could be another Josh Allen. I think Daniel Jones could be Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is good. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders now, signing that huge 4-year, $40 million contract. I mean, $40 million a year. I expect some good numbers out of Daniel Jones. I mean, if he can, give you 20, 25, 28 touchdowns, I think that's, a big improvement from only his 15, last year. I mean, he really uses his legs well. I mean, I think he had over 700 rushing yards, just behind Saquon Barkley, for rushing yards. And I mean, I feel like in today's NFL game, you need an elusive QB. I don't think pocket passers can really, stay in this league very long, because, these defensive tackles, these linebackers, everybody on the defensive side is only getting faster. The game is only getting faster. And these guys are running like a 4.4, 4.5 40. I mean, if you don't have a quick QB, he's gonna get sacked a lot and possibly even turn the ball over. And I think that's one of Daniel Jones's attributes is his speed. I mean, when he gets going, and he lowers the shoulder too. He's not afraid to lower the shoulder and try to get an extra 2 yards for maybe a first down, or maybe just get close to field goal range, or even close to the end zone. I mean, that's what I do like about Daniel Jones, is he's not afraid to put the shoulder down and try to make a play. And now we talk about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley currently is not signed. He decided to not sign the franchise tag at the franchise tag deadline, nor did Josh Jacobs. And there's been this big thing about running backs complaining about them not getting I wouldn't say a spotlight, but not their fair share of because it's kind of like a cycle with these running backs. Is they get drafted, Saquon Barkley got drafted, and then they get done with their rookie contract, and then when it's the big payday, that's where the negotiations they get tough, because a lot of GMs don't really believe in signing a running back long term, because they could just draft another one, and it could just be a cycle. Once again, draft them, wait, rookie contract's gone, go find another one in the draft. And I think that's kind of what the situation is. And Joe Shane is really he just couldn't get a deal done. There was a lot of work to do as well. I mean, this was not they were close to a deal, really. I think it was more they were kind of far apart from discussions, and that's tough because Saquon Barkley has said he wants to be a Giant for life, and spoke all about this, all about the Giants, and then then he goes on to I'm pretty sure it was a podcast, and said, I could do this and I could do this, and sit out and screw the Giants and all this, and that's not obviously what Saquon wants to do, and he said that after that comment, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to play, and he wants his money as well. I mean, players, want their money, and a lot of running backs spoke out. Derrick Henry spoke out. I think Austin Eckler spoke out. I think Josh Jacobs spoke out because he also couldn't get a deal done. And it's just because they feel they're being treated unfairly because they can't get that next contract. And I mean, I kind of do agree with them, but I mean, if we look at, the years past and the Super Bowl winners, all these running backs are not, making a lot of money. Isaiah Pacheco didn't make a lot of money. He won a Super Bowl, and he put up a good impact. But I mean, I know Saquon Barkley is better than Isaiah Pacheco. It's just the money thing, There's a cap space in this league, and you can't go over it. And, the front office believes that they don't think giving Saquon that long-term deal is what's best for the organization. It's tough to replace a guy like Saquon Barkley because he's been the main staple of this offense. And, I mean, there's not, there's not really a player that I can name that is better than him on this roster right now that's on the offense. He carried the offense last year to a playoff spot. They beat, the Minnesota Vikings, and then they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. And, they couldn't get a deal done. And that's just sometimes part of the business. Both sides just couldn't agree. The Giants tried to, re-sign Saquon Barkley at the bye week, but he declined. And I'm pretty sure it was $13 million a year, or somewhat of that, 14 maybe. That's a pretty fair offer. I think 13, 14 is a good offer. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember, that's a little more than Alvin Kamara is making, Aaron Jones is making, and it's a few million off of Christian McCaffrey, who I believe is making $15 million a year, 16 maybe, and that's even a lot for a running back. That's close to $20 million a year for a running back. You could really, use that money towards other positions. And, the Giants still have some holes. I mean, the Giants obviously still have some holes. Offensive line is not perfect yet. We don't know about Evan Neal yet. We saw what he did last year, struggled. Maybe there's a rebound. He's gotten in great shape. He's been working hard trying to, really rebound for, a breakout season, a comeback season. We saw Andrew Thomas. His first season was not great. Now he's probably, I would say, a top 5 offensive lineman in the league. Maybe just outside the top 5, but I would probably say he's in that top 5 discussion. And I don't know, the Giants can still sign Saquon. He could still accept the tag, and then they could, discuss another offer, in the season, maybe towards the bye week, which is week 13 this year. Maybe after week 1, against Dallas, we don't know. But, Saquon Barkley is a guy that, it's tough to replace. He, going into the draft, had a great college career, and then he goes and, gets compared to a lot of these top names that used to play in the league. And now he might sit out for the team. And I know he doesn't want to do that. I know that he does not want to sit out. He wants to play the game of football. He's been playing it his entire life. I don't think he wants to go in one of those Le'Veon Bell situations. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough. It's a business, and you want to get paid. Saquon thinks he deserves this amount of money, and he didn't get it, so he declined. Sometimes that's just how business goes. But Now we get into the other stuff. Now we get into the New York Giants schedule. As we look at it right now, it's one of the more difficult ones this year. The Giants got to be, come out right out of the gate. We know this NFC East team is pretty darn good. Eagles just made it to the Super Bowl. Dallas is always in the hunt. They're always just one of those teams that makes the playoffs every single season. They're always pretty good with talent. They also have Stephon Gilmore that they just got. They got a bunch of talent over there. CeeDee Lamb. No more Ezekiel Elliott, though. So they're going to have to ride with Tony Pollard, and I think that's probably what was best for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I thought Pollard was a lot better than Zeke, and now they finally see that. And, now we get into this record. It's going to be, let's get right into it. So the Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys Week 1 at MetLife Stadium I'm pretty sure that's an 8:20 start, so I mean it's the main game for Week 1. And I got the Giants. Sorry, keep talking about the Yankees. I've been talking about the Yankees so much. It's just like we're finally talking some Giants. So we talk about the schedule. We go into Week 1 versus Dallas, and I got the Giants coming out with a win for Week 1. I think the crowd's gonna be upbeat. I think this Giants team is gonna come out with a bang. I see this Giants team beating Dallas for Week 1. I think they come out hot, playing at MetLife. Crowd's gonna be upbeat, and they get a win. I think they could beat Dallas Week 1, and they've had close games. And the Giants just got better offensively. And I think that extra boost offensively could, beat this Dallas team in a close game. We go to Week 2 at Arizona. I think the Giants win that one as well. The Giants are, I think, a much more talented team than a struggling Cardinals team. No more DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals. I just think the Giants are, they match up a lot better than the Cardinals. It's just, I mean, I know it's on the road and, playing in Arizona is sort of tough, but I really do believe that the Giants can start 2-0 on the season. Now we head to Week 3 and the Giants take on the San Francisco 49ers at San Fran, and I have the Giants losing to the 49ers. They're just more talented. I mean, up and down the depth chart, they are just a lot more talented than the Giants. I mean, they're a really good team. They got a great offense, great defense. That's just really why I just think they're gonna beat the Giants. They're just a lot better than us. So now we head back to MetLife, taking on the Seattle Seahawks, and the Giants get their second loss of the season. Seattle's got a really good wide receiver core, and they got a really good offense, great defense as well. The Seahawks kind of have had the Giants' number a bit, and I just think that they're gonna beat the Giants in that one. So right now they're 2-2. Now they head to Miami, and this is my first upset victory of the season. The Giants go into Miami and get the win for their third win of the season. This is kind of just an upset win. It's kind of just one of those in the schedule that, you don't think they're going to win, but they find a way to win. I know now we hit the Week 6, taking on Buffalo. Really tough matchup. Brian Dable, first game back at Buffalo, and the Giants don't have enough to beat the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills defeat the Giants. I think that game could be a close one. Just how things are, and maybe Brian Dable sees something in the defense, and he really takes advantage of that. But I still ultimately think Josh Allen and Diggs take over that game and win that one. Now the Giants take on their second divisional opponent, the Washington Commanders, in Week 7. And I think the Giants going to win. I think the Giants are way more talented than the Washington Commanders. I don't see the Commanders this season being a strong team at all. They got a lot of holes in their team, and I don't know who's even going to start at QB for the Commanders. And now one of the bigger matchups of the season, the Giants head back to MetLife as the home team against the New York Jets, and I have them losing. I have the New York Giants losing to the New York Jets, and it's just mainly because the Giants, the Jets defense is just so good. I really believe the Jets have one of the better defenses in the NFL right now, and I think they got a great future as well. And they got Aaron Rodgers as their QB, and I mean it's a really good lineup. And it'll be a good game. I know that for sure. I mean, MetLife is gonna be sold out for that game for sure. I think the Jets just beat the Giants in a squeezer. Now the Giants head to Las Vegas for the first of the three games on the road trip to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, and I have them beating the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are nearly as good as the New York Giants. Talent-wise, I think they're better. I think now they have Darren Waller on their team, so now the Raiders kind of only have Josh Jacobs, and I think they're gonna win that one. Now we head to Week 10, taking on the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas. I have the Giants losing that one. Giants have been pretty bad in Dallas. They've had some close games, but ultimately, I have the Dallas Cowboys winning that game. We head to Week 11 at Washington. I have the Giants winning again, sweeping the Washington Commanders. Once again, Giants just have more talent, a lot more holes for the Washington Commanders, and I do expect the Giants to win that game. And now we head back to MetLife, taking on the New England Patriots. I got the Patriots losing to the New York Giants. I have the Giants winning. Once again, I just think the Giants match up better against the New England Patriots. I know, they got one of the best coaches, if not the best coach of all time, Bill Belichick. I just don't think their roster is that good. Heading into Week 13, Giants have the bye week. Heading to Week 14, they take on the Green Bay Packers. I got them winning that one again. I don't know what Jordan Love is going to bring to the table, but, I mean, they do have a good team. I think it's going to be, nail-biter, one of those close games at MetLife, and I think the Giants ultimately win that one. And now this is one of the games I was kind of, on the fence of. The Giants are at New Orleans. Playing in New Orleans is not easy at all. They got a pretty good roster down there. They'll probably take the NFC South, which is a bad division. I think this one's kind of a toss-up, but I do have the Giants squeezing one out. And I just think I think it's just going to be one of those close games where the Giants just edge out. Heading into Week 17 now, the first time the Giants take on the Eagles after that playoff loss. It's at Philadelphia, and I think the Giants just have no chance against the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Eagles winning that one at Lincoln Financial. The Eagles are so good. I mean, the Eagles draft well. They got a ton of good players on their team. They got Jalen Carter. That defense is scary good. And, Week 17 against the LA Rams. Giants are winning that, I think. It'll be a close one. I don't think the Rams are that bad of a team. They got Cooper Kupp. They got Aaron Donald still. They got, a bunch of good players. I just... they have good players on that Rams team. We know that. I think that's going to be a close game. Matt Stafford's a good QB. They got Cooper Kupp. They got some good pieces. but I do have the Giants winning that one. And the final game of the season against the Philadelphia Eagles at MetLife. We don't know if the Eagles are gonna, rest their players or whatever. I am playing older. I'm going into that game that they're gonna play all their players, and it's gonna be the Eagles coming out on top, finishing the Giants with a 10-7 record. That's a good year. 10 wins for this team. Things could change. Some of the things. Maybe the Giants beat Seattle. Maybe the Giants beat the Jets. I think the ceiling for this team is 11 wins. I don't see them getting to 12. I don't see them getting more than 11. I think 10 wins is good for this team. I think the worst they can do is 9-8. I have them, going 3-3 in the division. Sweeping Arizona. Not Arizona. Sweeping the Washington Commanders, and then losing both to Philly and then one to Dallas. So that'll do it for this podcast, breaking down the New York Giants expectations and schedule this year. Hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload these videos. Hit that like and hit that subscribe button. We have hit 41 subscribers now, on the road to 100. Thank you all for watching, and as always, this has been Vin, and let's go Giants, baby. Woo!